Hey, so this is a movie review. Two movie reviews in one. I just watched George A. Romero's The Crazies yesterday, and today I watched David Cronenberg's first film, Shivers, and I just have to talk about both these movies. I found some similarities in the two that I want to discuss, as well as just review them independently, and because I wanted to review them both independently, but then also found the similarities in the two of them, I thought I'd just stick them together in one review. Hopefully that's not going to be confusing. So to start, I'll talk about the similarities, I guess. Both films are from the 70s. Both films feature some unconventional zombies. Like, they're not zombies, but they're very close to zombies. The Crazies are kind of violent people that have been infected with the virus, Agent Trixie, and are, just behaving violent and erratically as well as very manically. So they're very close to zombies is what I'm trying to say, to put it simply. And then in Shivers, they're kind of like zombies that, instead of being undead, are just really horny, and instead of biting you, they rape you. Those are two those are two similarities, both from the 70s. Both of them feature kind of a different take on zombies, a non-undead version of zombies. Both feature actress Lynn Lowry, and both of them have a scene depicting father-daughter, it's uncomfortable to talk about, but there's a scene in each movie that depicts a father being sexual towards his daughter. Both movies also feature children being under the influence of this zombie pandemic thing. Both movies are in an isolated area. One of them, which Shivers, takes place on a little island inside of a hotel, whereas The Crazies takes place in this isolated, small Pennsylvania town. So there's an island hotel and a small Pennsylvania town. Two very different things, but the sense of isolation is the same between the two. And I'm sure if I thought about it and watched the movies on repeat, I would find more similarities, but those are just the things that I noticed on my initial viewing of both these films. Part of me likes Shivers more than I like The Crazies, but that's not what this video is going to be, which is better than the other. But there is something mildly funny about Shivers. I've heard David Cronenberg's films be described as closeted comedies, or undercover comedies, or secret comedies. They're played very seriously, and they're supposed to be very serious, but there's some moments that you just can't help but laugh. There's one moment in Shivers where the main guy just nopes super hard. He's like going down the stairs and he sees some people come out of a doorway barking like dogs, and he doesn't say anything, he doesn't react, there isn't like a long pause, he just turns right around and goes right back up the stairs. It's very funny. One thing I really liked about The Crazies is that it was super frantic in the beginning. I really liked how panicked it felt. It felt very much like the opening of Dawn of the Dead, where it feels so frantic and so crazy and like things are just spiraling out of control. My complaint, I guess, is that it doesn't hold that feeling and hold that energy throughout the entire film. By the time we reach the end of The Crazies, things have really started to slow down, and I found the climax mildly lackluster. Not bad, just in comparison to how strong the movie started, I felt that it started to lose steam. So the climax was somewhat disappointing. Shivers, on the other hand, did the opposite, where it starts off slow and ends where I was both kind of laughing uncomfortably and, yelling at the screen like, no dude, go this way, run that way, ignore them. And I couldn't help but crack some jokes with my roommate who I was watching the movie with, because the idea of Shivers is just so weird. Like, we were sitting there and we were going, is this worse than zombies? Like, instead of becoming a decaying corpse, you yourself become this horny monster running around, and it looks like they're just having sex with each other rather than trying to eat other people. Unfortunately, there is this weird forced aspect to the movie, which made me very uncomfortable a lot of the time, something that David Cronenberg is extremely good at. So yeah, I loved the look of the blood in these movies. I think I've said it a couple of times on this channel already. I kind of love that glowing fluorescent not fluorescent, but very bright blood that characterized a lot of 70s horror films, especially George A. Romero's of the Dead movies, and a lot of giallo films. I'm Canadian, so I gotta mention that David Cronenberg is also from Canada, and this movie was shot in Canada, and it received very harsh reviews when it came out, going as far as to ask the question, proffer the question, this was funded by the Canadian Film Board. Should we as Canadians be happy that this is where our tax dollars went? And I, for one, was not paying taxes in the 70s, but I am extremely happy that my grandparents were. This is Canadian money well spent. I'm just getting into David Cronenberg right now. I'm a huge George Romero fan, have been my whole life, and I'm really glad that I'm getting into Cronenberg now because I've always been familiar with The Fly, but I haven't been familiar with his other movies. I've just somehow never gotten around to watching Videodrome or Scanners. I just watched Videodrome. What the fuck? I'm still unpacking that. Maybe I'll do a review of that later, but for now we're sticking with this double review thing. But yeah, so I enjoyed both movies. They both had their faults. They got slow at times. I would say that both the soundtracks were left some to be desired, especially Crazies, when, you know, I myself am accustomed to George Romero movies having really fun or bombastic or just very atmospheric soundtracks. David Cronenberg, I don't really know what to expect yet because I'm just getting into his stuff. But both movies, I wish there was a little bit more to do in the soundtrack department. I said that kind of weird. I say a lot of things kind of weird. Ivan Reitman produced Shivers, which is kind of interesting. And I'll also mention that the Crazies features a couple other familiar faces. Maybe I'll throw them up behind me. Maybe I won't. But yeah, so I'm going to give them each a 7 somewhat zombie movie out of 10. Yeah, that's... Why do I do this to myself? They're just both... They're 7s out of 10. Whatever that means, you know. Thank you for watching. But, uh-oh. What are we doing here? Raising the spookometer. Now, if that's not some good progress, I don't know what is. Alright, that's it.